Comfrey bed that we got planted last year. It's a pretty simple design, just some 2x10s making a little raised bed. It's 5 foot by 12 foot, and watering system that you see there on top of it. It's just PVC pipe with holes drilled in it. Plants are all planted on 1 foot centers. You can kind of see the string that's run across there, making a grid across it. So we got our little 1 foot squares down there, and there's Comfrey plant right in the middle of each one of those. The PVC pipe runs across there, and we just hook up water to it right there. Water runs through it. There's a hole, one hole for each one of the Comfrey plants, and it just sits there and spits some water out on it. We let it run for about 30-45 minutes or so, and then shut the thing off. Next year this coming year we'll actually be automating that, so we don't have to come out here and water it every time it needs watered. Pretty much all the plants in there grew. There were a couple of them that ended up not growing or just not making it, but overall I would call it a success. Some of them ended up being a little bigger than others, but that's always expected too. You can see them starting to come back up where they died off over the winter time. So getting ready to dig in here and get some of these guys pulled up and get some propagation of them and see how many more we can end up with. The soil mix we've got in here, it's just layers of good quality topsoil. A little bit of peat moss is mixed in there. There's manure, both cow manure and rabbit manure in there. Some chicken and duck litter in there, and a bunch of sand. It's just layered in there in just various layers. Got layers each one. Got good bit of sand mixed in there, and that loose sandy soil is going to make it where these plants are going to be real easy for us to be able to dig up. So that way we can keep as much of the root structure intact as possible, so we can be able to propagate the most plants out of it as we can. Still a little cold out here this morning, just barely making it up into the 30s now. We're going to give it another, I don't know, couple hours. We're supposed to make it up into the 50s, mid 50s, something like that today. So we're going to give it a couple more hours before we get in here and start digging on any of them and getting them pulled up, just so our hands don't get so cold. You know, there's a reason we live down here in the south. We don't like it cold. Here at the Comfrey bed, done warmed up a little bit. Let's get some of this stuff dug up, see what kind of root structure we got on there, and get it turned into a bunch more Comfrey. So digging it up, you know, we used a soil mix that was real heavy in sand, a bunch of different layers, and so that makes it where it's real easy to dig in. You actually just stick your hand down in there and dig it up if you want to, but a little bit easier to cut through some of the roots with the little shovel here. So I just take the shovel, make a circle around it, you can kind of feel it cutting through some of the roots down in there. And then reach down in there and pull up the plant. So just all kinds of crazy Comfrey roots down in there. And then we'll leave this one here so we definitely know we got something that's going to come back in this hole. We'll probably have quite a few come back in this hole from cutting those roots off like we did. But that's one of them dug up. Got nice little bit of Comfrey here. We'll be able to make a few more plants out of that, a couple crowns. Get this next one dug up here. And just reach down in there and pull it on out. Shake some of the soil back in there so it's still there. That one's got some big old roots on it. And we'll get a bunch more of these dug up and get in here to the greenhouse and see what we're working with. In the greenhouse, we've got our pile of comfrey that we've dug up. Went through and did about 7-8 plants out there, something like that. And this is the pile we ended up with. Got some really nice big ones in there, and got some, you know, they're a little smaller, but we'll still be able to split them all up and end up with a whole lot more comfrey. What we're looking for, we'll use this great big one first as example. You want stuff, you know, about like that, about the size of a pencil or something. So we'll be able to take quite a few cuttings off of here. First thing I'll do, come through down here. That's a bit small. We'll set it over here to the side. We'll end up with a lot of them like that, and you know, they may grow, they may not grow. It's a pretty good chance they'll end up growing though. And we can just take this. You want a good 2-3 inches, something like that. So snip that off of there. That one will be a good growing piece. That one there, we'll just snip it off right there. That'd be a good piece to plant. This one's just a little on the small side, but it's getting pretty close to good. We'll snip it off. We'll leave it as a great big long piece, and that leaves us with that. That's a real nice healthy crown there. We could actually take this crown and split it in half and end up with 2 crowns off of there. So doing that, we'll just take it and just right there, it was caught to get growing together, and get it split apart, and now we've got 2 real nice looking crowns. You know what, I think we'll even come through here. We'll take one more cutting off of there, plant that joker, and gives us 2 crowns. And we ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll go on, toss that one in there, call it 5 of them off that one plant. These smaller ones like this, we'll just pop one off right there. We'll leave the rest of it like it is. Call that a nice big healthy crown. This one, we'll do same thing with it. Just pop it off right there. And another crown sitting up there. We'll go through, knock out the rest of these, and then we'll get a bunch of them stuck in pots and let them start growing, and we'll have them available as well started crowns and started root cuttings. Comfrey all cut up now. Got us a big old pile, whole bunches of crowns. So we'll start getting these guys planted, and got great big old pile of root cuttings there. Get them stuck in some pots and ready to go. On planting the crowns, it's real easy. You just take your crown. It's pretty obvious which side is up and which side is down. Take it, stick it in the dirt. Nothing special or hard or anything you got to do to it. Just stick it in there. We'll add a little more dirt there on top of it. Nothing special about this soil. This is just a mix we make here at the farm. Peat moss, topsoil, vermiculite, a little bit of bone meal and blood meals mixed in there, a little bit of biochar, and stick another crown in there. This one's a little smaller. We'll put it in a little bit smaller of a pot. Get some soil packed back around it. Then on the root cuttings, they're real simple to do as well. You just take them. That one's pretty big for that pot. See if we can't find one of these smaller ones. The root cutting, looking about 2 inches right there. And you just take it. You can do them horizontally if you can tell which way they came out of the ground, which is pretty easy to tell on this one. You got those little hair roots coming out. It came out of the ground this way. So you could take it and stick it down in there and plant it that way. Or you can actually take it and just plant it horizontally like that. You may end up having having a comfrey plant come up from here, one come up from here, roots going crazy all underneath. So that's probably part of the reason why some of ours are actually bigger than other ones, is a lot of them were planted like that. And I kind of like trying to go at just a little bit of an angle, the direction I can tell that it came out of the ground. Add a little dirt back on top of there. These things are good to go. Get some water on them, and these crowns will just start going gangbusters like immediately. These the root cuttings, they'll take a few days, week or so before they start coming up, but as soon as they start coming up, they'll be going gangbusters as well. Come over here, this is a bunch of them we got going a few days ago. They were these crowns were about the size of those crowns that we just did, and that was I guess last weekend when we did that. So these have been in these pots for a week now, and you can see how good they're going. That one was actually a root cutting there that it's already sticking some up after a week now. But yep, you'll have you a whole bunch of comfrey real quick. We'll have these guys available at our grafting workshop we got coming up. Be sure to check out the website, see how to get signed up for that, and see if you can't be one of the first people to get your hands on some of this comfrey this year.